Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Mayank Tiwari, who is the founder of Reshamandi, which is India's first and largest B2B marketplace for silk supply chain. Hi Mayank, welcome to ELI.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Introduction is simple. I am the founder and the CEO of Reshamandi, passed out of NIFT around 2007, have worked with e-commerce, retail, user experience, product side a
Mhm.
lot. But my inspiration has always been sales. So I'm very sales focused person. I've basically handled sales all through my career,
Okay.
wherever I've been.
Mhm.
And with 14 15 years of experience, basically I'm trying to do is I'm trying to culminate both the learnings of the tech world that I had and the physical world that I got
Okay.
from working with the retail chains and otherwise, culminating both of them together and building out a story on natural fibers and regenerative fibers. It's not only silk that Reshamandi currently focuses on. We've kind of diversified from there and moved into other natural fiber categories as well.
Mhm. Okay. Can you tell us more about Resha Mandi? What are the products we offer? What is the scale of operation? And what are the different problems that we are solving? Or, in other words, what value that we are providing to our customers?
We don't solve for one problem. Resha Mandi is not a platform play. We are an ecosystem play, which means that we're solving a lot of issues at
Mhm.
various nodes of the supply chain. We work very deep, entrenched into every supply chain that we work on. So we started with Silk around a year and a half back. June 2020 is when Resha Mandi got founded. I mean,
Mhm.
May is essentially when we got founded. June is when we started transacting. We basically work with the farmers, giving them the inputs, helping them with enhancing their productivity, efficiency, and then help them with the market linkage in terms of buying their output and selling it to the next in line,
Mhm.
and in terms of the nodes that you have in the supply chain. Then we work with reelers who are drawing out the yarns. We work with them again to improve their quality, improve their efficiency, put our stamp of approval on it, and then supply it to the weavers or the textile mills. Work with them on fabric supplies, work with them on sarees and otherwise,
Mhm.
and that is getting supplied to either the retailers or the brands out there, right? So that's basically what Resha Mandi does. So we've currently, like I said, we've ventured already into a couple of more fibers. We've already started seeing traction on cotton. We're starting to see traction on viscose. We'll move forward as we grow in terms of team size, in terms of the scale of operations. We'll probably in the next 3 to 4 months, we'll tap into six more natural fiber categories. Apart from that, from the scale standpoint, today we are around 310 people in the team with
Mhm.
20 more interns. So approximately 330 people working for Resha Mandi. And our scale of operations kind of doubles up or has doubled up for the last 2 months itself. So we were
Okay.
170 till October, and today we are 330. We've served around 1,000 plus pin codes across India. We work very deep into Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu from the farmer standpoint, Maharashtra. But when you go into the retail side, we're primarily into the A class cities and B class cities. We are basically not targeting your typical um, corporate buyer. We are targeting the SME segment of retailers, people who have not been provided any technological advancement. We want to be able to become their back-end merchandising layer, give them the sourcing abilities right at their fingertips, and then being able to work with us on the finance side as well. So that's our scale of operation as yet.
Okay. Can you tell us what is the biggest problem or what are the different problems that you are solving through this venture and why you have picked these problems to solve?
Let me ask you one question. The
Sure.
t-shirt that you're wearing, do you know which fiber it is?
I am not sure.
Do you know where that fiber came from?
Absolutely no.
Traceability, sustainability, circular economy, all those are not just buzzwords. These are the words that everybody needs to be conscious of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the global economy requires climate control to happen because the climate change is a big problem still, right? And fashion and apparel segment globally contributes to a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as there is sustainability, somebody can trace your garments and can give you knowledge that the particular t-shirt that you're wearing is a 120 GSM. I'm just giving you a hypothesis. Nobody should blame me for this, but let's just assume that you're wearing a 120 GSM t-shirt on a
Mm-hmm.
flat knit structure or a round knit structure, right? Now, what happens is the moment you get that much of clarity, you know exactly where it is coming from, how it got transpired, how which factory made it, and finally how it came to you. What what it allows you to do is it allows you to basically have a social angle to it, understand how many families you are supporting by buying that one t-shirt, and
Mm-hmm.
how much of the carbon footprint you are able to curtail down. That allows the consumer also to basically start questioning the brands as to what are they really wearing, how are they sourcing it, are they sourcing it responsibly or not.
Mm-hmm.
The more that happens, the better it is, because then we're not wearing polyesters, we're not wearing man-made fibers that contributes to more industrial pollution. We are working with the natural fiber industry, ecological industry, which basically makes your life a little more simpler, is what I would say.
Okay. And also, I would like to ask why this problem, why you have picked this problem to solve.
Oh, why is a very interesting story. We started with, uh, so I basically, during my college days, in my third year, we went for a cluster development program in Bagh, which is a village near Indore, which is known
Mm-hmm.
for its hand block printing. I am an NIFT Mumbai graduate. You are supposed to contemporize the craft in third year of your life in college. You're not contemporizing anything. You're
Mm-hmm.
basically trying to figure out a way to commercialize it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what I did is I basically picked up a few fabrics from there, got a local tailor to make few shirts for me because they looked cool and they looked different.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could find that fabric in Bombay. And I was surprised that I was able to make a shirt at around 350 rupees, right? I came down to Bombay trying to figure out the same fabric, and the fabric itself was costing 300 rupees per meter.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at the difference. Here is a shirt that was made in 350 rupees. Every shirt requires 2.5 meters of fabric. Now the fabric itself is costing you 300 rupees.
Okay.
Basically, meaning that by the time your shirt is manufactured, that will cost you at least 1200 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
There is a huge gap in terms of the price that this hand block printer or the handloom weaver was able to extract vis-a-vis the people in between, which are the
Mm-hmm.
traders. And by the time it reaches to a retailer or the consumer, it's so exponentially high that you feel that you don't want to wear a eco-friendly garment. You want to basically wear a polyester garment, primarily because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that problem statement continued to exist with me all through my career. I worked on last one of my ex entrepreneurial stint was Next Steps Research and Development, where we were trying to solve the grassroots level problem, but more from a service angle, not from a product angle, where we would go into the clusters, understand their problem statement, define a solution, go to the ministry, get an approval, then go back, implement it, go back to the ministry and ask for funds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that process, you can only scale so much. And I realized that if I need to do this at a larger scale, I need to basically start building out a digital ecosystem. And that's what Reshamandi is.
Okay. Uh, can I also can you also tell us how do you generate demand for your ecosystem that you are building? Because at the end of the day, it has to be supported financially, and the customers will pay. How did you and how do you generate the customers?
See, one, we believe in relationships, we believe in trust and transparency in our system. So much so that most of our budget has not been spent on marketing. Instead, it has been spent on our operations team actually going on the ground and being able to meet the stakeholders. Network effect has played a lot of part in us being able to grow to where we are. Second, as to how we onboard people is we continue to give them a call, make them feel part of the ecosystem, make them feel that change. Uh, People did tell me when I started that outbound calls don't work. In
Mm.
our case, our outbound call conversion ratio is 60%.
Mm. Okay.
So for us, it works, and every business, every entrepreneur will have various of such stories where people, your general market sentiment would be this won't work, and then you try that and it works for you, and that becomes your moot point.
Mm.
So sometimes things just works for you better than anybody else, primarily because your stakeholders are such. In our case, our stakeholders love to talk. They have never been had they've never had these when you work with a Deloitte, when you work with a PwC, or you work with any corporate, what happens is
Mm.
there are people who are respecting your opinion. They are
Yeah.
hearing you out. Here are stakeholders who have toiled all the way through in their life. They're not poor marginalized farmers or poor marginalized SMB guys. No,
Mm.
silk or cotton is a market where you have a lot of money at play.
Mhm.
It's a volume game. It's a large money game. Silk cocoon on a 1 kg basis today is selling around 600 rupees. It's almost equivalent to your almonds.
Mm.
The farmer is making that much on a per month basis. Out of 1 acre land, he's about to make around 1.25 lakh to 1.5 lakh rupees. The moment you give them the respect, you are giving them a lending year, and you're basically telling them, okay, I'm here to help you. They're more than happy to discuss it further and further on. And then you can deep dive into the problem statements further down, understanding what do they really want, and then being able to solve that technology. That has been our approach, worked for us. And that's what our go to market has been.
Okay. Uh, Speaking of budget, can you tell us how have you funded your operation so far?
How have I funded the operation so far? We've picked up two funding rounds. We did our seed round in January 21, and then we did our Series A in October.
Mhm.
But one thing I realized in between my seed round and Series A, I was also maturing as a CEO. Nobody told me that don't use your equity money for working capital management.
Mm.
We did that. We burnt our hands. Realized we shouldn't do it. So today, how we do it is we have our equity money, which becomes a backbone to basically being able to draw out more debt in the market, which basically then allow us to manage the working capital beautifully well through all the way through the supply chain, allowing us to scale, uh, but being very frugal because you need to pay the interest. So the
Mhm.
business heads, the P&L owners kind of understand that pain. They need to repay, so the collection becomes a focus automatically. And the moment the collection becomes your focus in a B2B game, and you're able to scale along with that, it's a very different flywheel that you have created. So
Okay.
that's what Reshamandi works on right now. It's a little complicated, but yeah.
Okay. Uh, Also would like to discuss on hiring. I think in a very short span of time, we have expanded the team size probably exponentially, and I think a lot of interns also work with the company. So can you tell us how do you go about hiring the people? What kind of people you look for, and how do you know what kind of people will come, join, sustain, and grow?
There are two ways to do it. One, you need to have a very good roadmap as to where are you going to plan to grow, which are the departments you want to grow. Now, there are two approaches again in growing a department. You can either go top down or you
Mhm.
can go bottoms up. In few cases where we needed the operational team, we've gone bottoms up. Wherever we needed a large leadership to get created first, we've gone top down. The other factor that I constantly work on is, if I like somebody and I'm talking to him and
Mhm.
I feel that person might just be a right fit for Reshamandi and I just don't know where,
Mhm.
I will still offer.
Okay.
I'll go out, offer to him, and then let him come in, take his 1 or 2 months, understand what our process is, and then in 1 or 2 months, normally people who have the bent of mind of doing business or to do anything with the business, they will come back to you and tell you exactly what they want to do. And that kind of gives you a kick automatically because now you are choosing your own career.
Right. So, moving on, what are the different challenges that you have faced along the way while building and growing this venture?
Well, I had to grow myself. That's the biggest challenge. From being a founder who had the concept to basically being able to ideate on that concept, bring it to the foray of a investor, talk to the investors, try and close the round with the lawyers and CA and CS all around. I had no clue how to do all this.
Hmm.
I have, and the way Reshamandi grew, I had to. I mean, this is what people have been saying, that you've grown what people would do in 5 years, you've done in 1 year, and that has been a challenge now because when your business kind of expands that fast, your mindset has to expand that fast, your
Mm.
leadership has to expand that fast. It becomes a challenge that you're thinking that, okay, I'm hiring this guy probably will become my CEO someday later, right? And all of a sudden you are at a juncture where you need a CEO,
Mm.
and that guy is yet to get matured into the role. Now what do you do? And that becomes a flux point, right? You don't even know where you are and what do you want to do from there. So we've learned to live with problem statements like these,
Mm.
where we mature ourselves, our leadership matures themselves. But we continue to focus on our business. We continue to focus on our numbers. We make sure our numbers are up and above what we kind of aim for every time. And that's those were few of the problem statement from the from the mindset standpoint. But operationally there are a lot of issues, right? When you're trying to expand, imagine we today we have operation center, I think 35 operations center for farms itself, which basically works with the farmers. I mean, somebody is in Haveri, somebody is in Hiriur, somebody is in a deeper pocket of Andhra Pradesh, and to be able to hire somebody local there, one, that becomes a challenge. Then once you have hired, to be able to train them onto your technology platform becomes a challenge. Then once you have trained them, to be able to extract out right report on right time becomes a challenge.
Mm.
We have solved for all three of them separately, but it took us time to solve for it.
Okay. Uh, as an entrepreneur, you are expected to stay energetic, and you have to motivate other people to be driven, to be energetic. So, can you tell us how do you manage situations where you don't feel energetic, where you lose focus, where you feel restless?
Very simply, take a break.
Okay.
Switch off your phone, switch off your laptop, go for a break. If you're not in it,
Hmm.
you won't be able to do it. Better is to just phase out, go for a vacation, go for 2 3 days or 5 days or 10 days, whatever times it takes. Because if you are not in the right frame of mind, your company is not in the right frame of mind.
Hmm.
Everybody else is suffering around you,
Okay.
right? People can't motivate you.
Hmm.
Founder's journey is a very lonesome journey. Uh, you can talk to your co-founders, but not every time.
Hmm.
It becomes sometimes you can't even come back to your family and talk to them about your problem statement because they won't understand it.
Hmm.
And you can't give out a call to your investor and tell them that I am having issues. Right? So there is absolutely nobody you could trust. And the larger you become, the trust become more problematic.
Hmm.
How do you trust everyone with the information that you have?
Correct.
And how do you disseminate that information? Sometimes you just have to hold on to that information for the strategic point in time to be able to tell people exactly what you have in mind.
Hmm.
And my uh, thinking there is very simple. So if I'm in office and I feel that I'm just not being able to concentrate, either I'll start chit chatting with somebody
Mm,
and not talk about business at all, or I will give a call out to a friend and just hang around with him,
mhm.
or I'll just simply move out of the office and come back to my home and
Okay.
play with my kid. Uh, Whichever way I need to do it, I just need to calm my mind. That's it.
Okay. Uh, you mentioned about switching off and switch off till you become till you come back to the game again. So can you tell us if there is a mechanism in place which takes over when you switch off?
The mechanism in place is I have my trusted lieutenants in my team.
Okay.
They are the guys who are running my show. My show has already become almost automated in the business
Mhm.
side.
Okay.
Uh, there are few gaps that we have identified, but from the beginning,
Mhm.
I am a person who likes to delegate things rather than driving it all by on myself. So as long as you are able to delegate and you are able to have your trustworthy people around you,
Mhm.
they will support you when you want to switch off. And if you are available to them and they want to switch off and you are able to take over their job roles, they'll be more than happy to support you when you need the most.
Mhm.
So, uh, it's about creating that second line, third line. It's very important to create those lines of trust. It's that leadership that will drive the company forward. It's not you alone that can
Mhm.
drive the company forward at any given point in time. So today, Reshamandi has, I mean, I have a clear visibility of my third line of leadership, and I know who to trust and who not to trust.
Okay.
And if somebody you can't trust completely, then you won't be able to work with them completely.
Hmm.
That means that you need to be able to trust everybody in your system.
Okay. Can you tell us how do you manage your time? Especially, can you tell us how does your calendar look like for a typical day?
My calendar is very recently, I have been able to get Abhishek from within the team. He joined us as the product manager, became our head of product, was
Hmm.
a ISB grad with entire of his career into product management, has just recently become a chief of staff for me. And
Hmm.
very thankfully, he has done a great job on my calendar. He's
Okay.
kept my calendar quite free whenever I want it. He's
Hmm.
being able to do meetings where I don't have to get involved personally on a first time. Um, that's how I manage my time now. The other factor is I don't work after 10 o'clock in the night,
Okay.
and that everybody knows all through
Hmm.
the industry. From my investment bankers to my lawyers to my CACS to my investors, everybody know that mine goes to sleep at 10 o'clock,
Hmm.
and I'm up by 7 o'clock in the morning, which means that for that duration of you know 9 hours, 10 hours, I'm at my own. I love watching television, or I might go to sleep, or whatever I want to do. Right at that point in time, my phone goes on DND. There are only few people on my favorites who can actually give me a call, Um and see, nothing will break loose. The all hell break loose situation, people will be right at my doorstep if something of that sort happens.
Yes.
Thankfully, it has not happened till now, right? So nothing will go wrong, so wrong that your company will be down next day morning.
Hmm.
As long as that is not happening, why do you need to break your back on it? You need to be
So
able to
true.
enjoy the ride of
Right.
creating something, right?
Yes.
If I continue to work 24 hours a day for eternity, and if that is what is expected out of me as a
Hmm.
CEO or the founder of the company, then sorry, but I'm not enjoying my life. And if I'm
Hmm.
not enjoying my life, I won't be enjoying the ride itself. And if I'm not
Right.
enjoying the ride, then what's the point of creating the company?
Hmm. That is so true. What is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How do you define the term entrepreneur?
How do I define the term entrepreneur? Uh, for me, entrepreneurship is more about knowing who you are. You need to be truthful to yourself. You
Hmm.
need to know what your inner self looks like to yourself. Like, I am a sales guy. I know that. I'm not a great finance guy. I know that.
Mm.
Heart to heart, if you can have a word with yourself to figure out what you are good at, and then you use that skill set to go out in the market and create something, it will become easy because you would know what your weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
You won't say, I will do everything myself. That's great. If an entrepreneur can say something like that, it's the most amazing thing that they can say to themselves first. And second, then you will hire the right folks around you
Mm.
who you can continue to trust. Like my finance team, accounts people, these are the guys who are my trustworthy guys, and also to do with the factor that I don't understand this. I don't
Mm.
know tally. I don't know finance. It's not that I can't read my balance sheet or P&L. It's just that it's not something that I love doing,
Okay.
right? I love doing operations. I love doing sales. That's my strategy. Okay, that point in time, I can give you 100 strategies. But
Mm.
if it comes down to creating technology, though I can write code myself, but Saurabh is much better than me on it. So
Mm.
him guiding the team is much better than me guiding the team at that level. So there are various things that you need to be truthful to yourself to be able to analyze as to what you're good at, and then bring that into the foray and basically take over the market from there.
Okay. My final question to you. Tell us what are the different lessons that you have learned as an entrepreneur, which we can take away and apply to our ventures, especially the interesting lessons.
Okay. See, I'll tell you what. People will give you lessons. People will give you the solutions that they created, and but that's their story.
Mm.
It's not your story. If you want to create your own stories, the problems would be different. The solutions would be different. Yeah, you might need some advisors. So, like there have been problem statements, and I don't want to go into what problem statements they are, but imagine you are in a problem statement. What is the first thing that is cropping in your head? Do you want to solve it yourself? Do you want your trusted lieutenants to solve it for you? Or do you want to reach out to an advisor? What's your first instinct? How do you solve for it?
Mm.
Right? Most of the time, people procrastinate on problem statements very, very long, for very long. I always tell my team, think and do, don't overthink, because procrastination won't yield results.
Mm.
You need to think and you need to be able to act on it, because if you fail, you are failing faster, and that's okay.
Mm.
But if you're not failing at all and you're procrastinating on it, it won't work for you ever. So problems, solutions, lessons, I don't think I'm the right person to give out to everybody, and it's not generic also, right?
Mm.
But if anybody has a problem statement, you feel you want to reach out to somebody, Mayank Tiwari is your guy. Please pick up the phone, give me a call. I'll be able to probably become your agni aunt on that.
Okay. On this note, I think we have come to the end of this discussion. Thanks for your time, Mayank, and our best wishes for Reshamandi.
Thank you so much, and my best wishes to Entrepreneur Lounge in India. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. Take care.